Charlie and I he, have always been big fans of living within your income, and if you do that, you'll have a whole lot more income later on. And I think they will, to a considerable extent, not a perfect extent, they will follow the example of their parents. I mean, if their parents are coveting, every possession of their neighbor, or trying to figure out ways to increase their cost of living without necessarily their standard of living, the kids are likely to pick up on it.
Money is one of the most common things we think about daily. So many people want more of it, but few know how to get it, keep it, and spend it wisely. Do you know where your money goes? Do you know how you can make more of your money, save more, boost your savings, and use it for meaningful things? If not, some everyday habits are keeping you from becoming wealthy. In this video, I break down the 10 biggest mistakes that keep you from getting rich. I will give you a set of Warren Buffett rules and guidelines to use in daily money management decisions that will put you on the right track. Warren Buffett is a legendary investor and philanthropist, best known as the CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. His company has been successful for several decades, but behind every success there is a story. How can he be so successful? A look at his background, including how his father's advice shaped him into a businessman, investor, and philanthropist. Warren Buffett avoided the money mistakes you're prone to doing. In this video, he'll show you how to stop the habits keeping you from being a millionaire or a billionaire. On to the first money mistake: you have no emergency fund, or you have a less amount in your emergency fund. Remember that there's no way to rescue yourself from a down market without an emergency fund. This means that if something catastrophic happens, you will be financially broke.
Financially, when you have an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses, you're sitting there with $10, $15, $20, $25,000, whatever it is, 3 to 6 months of expenses, say $20,000 sitting there in cash. Financially, what happens is it turns having an emergency fund and being out of debt except your house, baby steps 1 through 3, turns an emergency into an inconvenience.
If you want to build a sustainable emergency fund, you will have to prioritize your expenses. You need to track all your monthly expenses and then go back over them every month to ensure you are still saving enough money. Then, determine how much you need to save per month according to your lifestyle to reach your financial goals. Also, you may program your bank account to move money automatically each month from your checking account to a savings account. You may also set up your direct deposit so that 10% of each paycheck is automatically sent into your savings account if that makes you uncomfortable. Because you're a subscriber of my channel, here's another trick Warren Buffett recommends for you to save money if you want to retire early. Deploy the 90-10 strategy. The strategy entails investing 90% of your money in stock-based index funds and allocating the remaining 10% to lower-risk assets. If we view this Warren Buffett's rule of saving in the long term, this strategy seeks to increase yields throughout the whole portfolio. Buffett claims that with this strategy, an individual investor will be able to make greater gains than those who use high-fee investment managers. For example, if you are an investor following my tips with a $100,000 portfolio and choose to use the 90-10 method, you will put $90,000 into an S&P 500 index fund. The remaining $10,000 might be invested in treasury bills with a 1-year maturity and an annual yield of 4%.
I would say that in terms of the index fund, I would just take a very broad index. I would take the S&P 500 as long as I wasn't putting all my money in at one time. If I were going to put money into a index fund in relatively equal amounts over a 20 or 30-year period, I would pick a fund, and I know Vanguard has very low costs. I'm sure there are a whole bunch of others that do. I just haven't looked at the field, but I would be very careful about the costs involved because all they're doing for you is buying that index. I think that the people who buy those index funds on average will get better results than the people that buy funds that have higher costs attached to them, because it's just a matter of math. If you have a very high percentage of funds being institutionally managed, and a great many institutions charge a lot of money for doing it and others charge a little, they're going to get very similar gross results but different net results.
Let's go to the next mistake you're fond of doing that costs you financial building. You spend more than you earn. Being a spendthrift can wreck your finances. If your outflow exceeds your income, your upkeep will be your downfall. Spending less than you make is the first step to accumulating money. It's essential to moving in the right direction financially. When you spend too much, your finances suffer the most. Avoid believing all the crap on social media if you want to spend less. For instance, if you see your friend's brand new couch that they posted on the status, if we compare, your couch looks like you picked it up from the side of the road. These activities only deplete your finances, deprive you of your long-term financial objectives, and rob you of joy. When will it be over? If you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications button, I'll guide you into mastering your mind and understanding your needs and wants so that you can attain your financial goals. Let's go to the next mistake you need to avoid. Debt. You have too much debt. Maybe you had to get that 4-year degree, so you applied for some student loans. Maybe you have credit card debt or a car you bought through finance. Whatever the reason is, chances are if you aren't already rich, it's because of your debts. It's time to knock down some debt. Use Dave Ramsey's snowball technique to stay out of debt quickly. The snowball strategy is paying down the lowest of all your loans as soon as feasible. After that debt has been paid in full, you transfer the funds you use to make that payment to the subsequent lowest debt. Once you apply the snowball strategy, you'll be back on the road toward your financial success. Mistake number 4, you take time to think about investing. People discuss how dangerous the stock market is. Yes, there are downturns involved, but so does rely on a single employer who may declare bankruptcy or fire you at any time. Consequently, how can you control risk in the stock market? Buffett advises being knowledgeable in your field. Learn. You will be more adept at it the more you comprehend it. Can you remember when Warren Buffett quoted that someone is currently sitting in the shade because a tree was planted decades ago? You might be now wondering about the time to start investing. Let's go to the 5th mistake that is making you not to be rich. You only rely on one passive income. The guiding principle of wealth creation is the requirement for many sources of income. Your prospective profits are limited if you only rely on your wage as a source of money. You must establish passive revenue sources. Check out methods to earn money while you sleep, covered in my previous videos. Select one that works with your schedule and skill set, then begin to create. If you try to take on too much at once, you'll waste time. Focus on one method, build it, employ experts, and then you can create another income channel. Mistake number 6, you believe in overnight success stories. You gamble too much and think you will hit the jackpot one day. According to experts, there isn't much a player can do to boost their chances of winning the Powerball jackpot. The odds of doing so are 1 in 292 million. You won't believe it until you watch this Mr. Beast video of him losing up to $50,000 before winning. If you're a gambling victim, you always feel that you can't stop. And even when you try or lose the last of your stash, you're back the next day, and the day after that. Wait, what is going on here? Why do you keep doing it? Gambling is hurting your financial future. If you feel like gambling, control your cash by not spending it on games of chance. Fill in the gaps with new activities, such as watching my inspirational videos, doing schoolwork, assigned studies, reading novels I recommend you, doing art or craft projects, going out with friends or family members. Let's go to the 7th mistake. You doubt your level of ambition of becoming rich. Did you know that all the company's founders, including Microsoft, Facebook, IKEA, Aldi, Luxottica, and Dell Computers, were either non-college students or college dropouts? In 1951, after Buffett had proposed to his wife, his father-in-law invited him for a chat. It turns out that his father-in-law had little confidence in Buffett's future ambitions. He was convinced Buffett would fail. Did you know how Buffett responded? He reacted positively. He always knew that he would be wealthy. He didn't believe he'd ever had the slightest question about it. He was confident. He assumed the negative thoughts, and he made it. He's now a successful man with a strong financial building. If you've read The Alchemist book, The Alchemist's main principle is that everyone should live alone in pursuit of their ambitions. In The Alchemist, dreams serve as a channel for one's inner wishes and a means of interaction with the hereafter. You have the power to achieve your goals. Be realistic about your goals and surround yourself with positivity. Acknowledge accomplishments and passions and share what you have to offer. Reach for the stars and don't be afraid to speak up. These are just a few things that will help you believe in yourself. Number 8. You surround yourself with poor friends and you're afraid of losing them. You will become the 6th confident person if you spend time with 5 others. You will become the 6th millionaire if you associate with 5 others. You'll become the 6th broke person if you hang out with 5 others. Warren Buffett has been a friend of Bill Gates for over 30 years. What do you notice about Warren Buffett's friends? They are all billionaires. Your friend has undoubtedly been a poor influence on you for a time, but perhaps you've been trying to give them more opportunities. Limit your boundaries. Communicate less with them and fade the relationship. Mistake number 9, you worry about failing. Many of the richest self-made people had failures before they became successful. Elon Musk lives as an illustration of how having great ambitions and working hard can lead to realizations that change the world. He too is a university dropout, a philanthropist who, after decades of challenging ups and downs, still gives to humanity. Do not be frightened to make errors. Think of those mistakes as learning opportunities on the route to achievement. Failure is a teacher, not a death sentence. And lastly, the 10th mistake, you dress or you buy to impress. You'll never be able to please everyone. You'll never be able to satisfy everyone, regardless of how much money you spend or what you purchase. Because of this, buying things to make other people happy is the greatest waste of money. You are failing by default and denying yourself what you want. Overcome the urge always to want to impress others by taking the lead. Find an activity that you want to try, and then try it. Take charge by guiding conversations, use your compliments wisely, and share personal growth-oriented thoughts with others. Money is one of the most important ingredients to achieving success. These 10 things will rob you blind and slow down your progress towards your financial goals. Wealth is something that most people don't have, and most people who seek it get caught up in these common traps. Some are subtle, others are more common. But if you can avoid even just a couple of these, you'll be way ahead of the game. And because you've stayed with me till the end, here's a bonus for you only. Keep your stomach out of affluent people's homes. Instead, use your common sense if you want to flourish and you have the chance to communicate with them. Don't eat too much if you want to befriend a rich person when invited for a meal, and instead, ask them how they acquired their fortune. My next video will cover how rich people built and managed their wealth. I'll show you how they make money and what they do, and create an environment where they continually make money no matter what is happening. I'll also discuss what's worked so you can adopt them and start your journey to financial freedom. If you are concerned about your financial security and are thinking about investing, check out the first link in the description. It's the platform I use, Interactive Brokers. Click the link to learn more. If you're excited to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications.